Welcome. You've now been locked into an episode of Dad Tough. Dad Tough. Bringing you your weekly injection of any and everything dad, husband, and man. So sit back, grab a beer, get rid of that pesky wife and kids, and get ready to dive into fatherhood, marriage, men's health, youth sports, and a bunch more nonsense coming straight to your screen, headphones, and into your hearts. Sometimes being a dad is tough, and sometimes you gotta be tough to be dad. Are you dad tough?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dad Tough. I'm your host, Blake Brown. And today we're going to do something a little different. Something that I've been excited to try. This is definitely a sample. We're going to see how it goes. But you notice that I've got quite a bit of people, and we've kind of run into some issues with some connection issues and stuff. So we're here now. It's been about an hour. About an hour or so trying to get this stuff done. So we're definitely going to see how this goes. Hopefully we won't have to stop. Hopefully we don't lose connection. So we're just going to run with it. But like I said, guys, we're going to do something different today. Something I'm super excited about. I think I'm going to name it something like War Wednesday or something eventually if it becomes popular. What it is pretty much battle of the sexes as far as opinions on relationships, children, marriage, whatever the case may be. If it causes conflict, we're going to talk about it. But I'll tell you what, guys, we are going to start this off right. We're going to do what I call a shot and story, where we take shots and you tell us a little bit about yourself. This segment is brought to you by High Ridge Spirits, the distillery located in Florence, Alabama, where every bit of their alcohol is brewed in-store, on-site. If you guys have not checked this place out, definitely give it a good check. And it's a great environment. They got live music almost every day of the week, open mic nights on Wednesdays. If you want to sing a song, tell a joke, read a poem, whatever the case may be, make sure you get signed up on that list. All right. So what we're drinking is moonshine. I think yours is about gone already. It's been.
I started early. I didn't know.
It's been well, and in your defense, it has took us about an hour to get this thing going. Yeah. But like I said, we're taking a couple shots of moonshine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise a glass and look, guys, we're going to have fun. This is going to be fun. So we're going to give it a try. So I'm going to raise a glass and thank y'all for being on here and get ready to get this thing started. So we're going to go shot. Whew. Love me some old moonshine. It's crazy, man. I keep saying on every episode that moonshine is a southern thing, and it must be true just because y'all both. I mean, y'all reach for the bottle of moonshine to try. I said I'm always ready for some good moonshine. But anyways, guys, we got Mr. TJ Fowler on here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's up, guys? I'm TJ. I'm married. My wife's Emily. I have 5 kids between the two of us, a big-ass blended family. We got Sydney, Caleb, Reed, Libby, and Lizzie. I work full-time for the Army, Alabama Army National Guard. It's actually a new adventure I'm starting next week, a new career, and I'm pretty stoked about that. And, I've known Blake for several years now. I tolerated his ass working, living with him on a boat, so we share like birthdays and Christmas together, and I hated every minute. Yeah, I'm here to support him.
Heck yeah, man! I'm glad you could be here. We got Miss Ashlee Franks.
Hey there, Ashlee Franks. I am married so long I just about can't remember. 22 years, I think.
Golly.
23 years. We have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. We space them out. We have a 23-year-old, an 18-year-old, and an 11-year-old. I do work. My husband's in construction. I am in the pharma industry in sales. So, and I have known Blake, as we would say in the South, since he was knee-high to a grasshopper.
Yeah.
He's actually all right.
I'm all right.
He's okay.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'll take it, man. I'll take all the.
He was my boss. He was my mate. So, he tolerated me.
Oh yeah. And then there on the top right-hand side of the screen, we got Mr. Brandon and Miss Alanah Lowery. How are y'all doing?
Doing good. Go
Good.
ahead. Um, well, we're married, obviously. We have 4 kids, 4 boys, 13, 8, 4, and 2. So we didn't space them out. We got Connor, Jasper, Lyndon, and Phoenix. Almost forgot his name.
I do it
But
all the time.
I did.
Go ahead.
We've been married for almost 9 years. I did 9 years in the military, so I know what he's saying. And go ahead.
What did you say? I didn't hear. I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you.
I said I stay at home and take care of him.
Stay at home and take care of him. Well, I bet that's a job there in itself.
Yeah.
I bet he's a handful. I bet he's probably the worst kid in the house.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. And then down on the bottom left hand of the screen, we got Mrs. Jessica Graham. Is that how you say it? It's Graham, right?
It's Graham.
I know it was Chase for a long time, and I know you finally changed it on Facebook. So
Finally. I'm Jessica. I've been married for a year. Been with my husband for 7. We have 3 kids, Devin, Caden, and Aiden. We're a blended family, and we have our first baby on the way together. However you would say that. A stay-at-home mom for the first time in forever, and small business owner.
small business owner, awesome. And awesome there, we got on the bottom middle, Mr. Jeremy Gales. Am I saying that right? Is it Gales?
Beautifully, as
Awesome,
usual, sir.
awesome.
Yes, sir. My name is Jeremy Gale Sr., actually.
Senior. Man, I should have
yes,
put
sir.
that in there.
You know, titles, we don't need them. But yeah, married, going on 7 years now, have 4 beautiful children. We are also very much blended. And small business. I also work with Amber Care on the side. That's how I like to think about it. And yeah, just happy to be here.
Awesome, man. Glad you can make it, man. I enjoy every single one of you being on here, and I appreciate y'all being patient with me, trying to get this thing going. And on the bottom right, we got Miss Candace. Would you say it's Wieland? Wieland. Okay, I'm horrible with names.
My name's Candace. I'm married. My husband's in the military, currently deployed. We've been married for 13 years. We have 4 kids, 2 from a previous marriage, which is Blake's wife, brother.
Yeah, I saw.
For 7 years. And I have a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old with him. And then me and my husband now have 3-year-old twins, a boy and a girl. And like I said, he's in the military and I'm an RN.
Awesome. Hey, first of all, I want to thank everyone here for your service, for your husband's service. Big supporter of our military. If it wasn't for y'all, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do today. Appreciate it. Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, topic of discussion today is going to be the household duties in a relationship. I'm super excited about that. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to be the first one to start it off, okay? I'm going to just go ahead and flat out say that the woman needs to be in the kitchen making them sandwiches. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I mean, that's the thing, man. It's different in every household. That's something I've noticed. It's different in every household, whether it stems from, you know, how you were raised, how your parents did it. I know a lot of people go off of that. You know, me personally, you know, I've been in, you know, several different relationships, and I've been a different person in each one, and luckily, you know, over the years I've grown into a better husband, a better man, you know, and a better father, because I did, you know, back in the day, I really did. I was raised that way. You know, my aunts, you know, my uncles, my grandparents, my dad, you know, like, the woman stayed at home and you know, they took care of the house, they took care of the kids. The man, they went out and got the money, and you know, and that's all we was expected to do. And it took me a good while to kind of realize that, a stay-at-home mom a stay-at-home mom, and is a job. I mean, it really is. I mean, just wrangling up after kid after kid after kid, like your job never stops. So I'm going to go out on the limb and say this. Now, if you'd have asked me this, a couple years ago when I was still, kind of young and ignorant, I think a working mom is the hardest job. I really do. A woman that puts in her 8 to 12 hours a day and then comes home and deals with the kids that's rough. That is rough. And coming from, my background, TJ can testify there. We used to work a schedule where, we'd be gone for 2 weeks, home for 2 weeks, whether it be, 2 weeks or 21 days, or 28 days, and my thing was, the women that I was with at the time, they always thought that we were going on vacation, Yeah. They thought it was just a big vacation, and which it wasn't the case. But nonetheless, even my mind, I thought that I worked my ass off for them 2 weeks, and TJ can testify. Towboating is not for the weak.
No, hell no, I'm broke down. It's every day.
So I kind of, developed the mindset of I've worked my ass off for 2 weeks. This 2 weeks I'm at home, I ain't doing nothing, and not paying any attention to, my wife working the whole 2 weeks that I was gone, and on top of that, wrangling a kid by herself. It took me a little bit to kind of realize, kind of open my eyes and grow as a person, as a man, to, it's a man's job to help out.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody got any?
Well, when I worked on the river, I was single. Of course, I had the kids, but I was recently divorced and everything, and I didn't fully understand all that. But last year, I was gone for around 6 months for the whole military thing. And my wife, and sometimes I think she did. You're like, you're off playing Army with your friends, But I promise she had it harder than I did, and I couldn't imagine still doing the whole river thing and leaving her consecutively 2 weeks at a time, year round.
Right. It's rough, man. You don't really realize it until, you get stuck at home with the kids for a day when your wife's out doing something. And it's like, oh shit, this is hard.
I found myself divorced with a 1-year-old little girl, a 4-year-old little girl, and a 6-year-old boy. And, when it come up there, my first weekend with them, I was like, holy shit. It's like diaper change, snack, diaper change, snack. And right then, I earned this whole new respect for mothers as a whole. And I've always said that, I'm like, fuck, this is rough. Because sitting there by myself, I was playing mom and daddy, and it was my time. And so I think that for this whole topic we're on right now, I'm probably going to have to side with a woman, and not just because my wife is going to watch this later and I'm trying to kiss ass, but that's just how I feel because I've been there playing both roles at one point. So.
Roger that. Absolutely, man. Look like you was supposed to say something there, Ashley.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't have anything to say.
You don't have anything to say?
No. You said you get stuck at home for one day with kids, and then you realize, but when you're home with the kids for that one day, you're focused on the kids.
Yeah.
When she's home with the kids, she's focused on the kids, the house, the bills, the groceries, the school, the sports, 365 days a year.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I think we could all pretty much agree, or I guess we'll see by the end of this, if that as a whole, as a society, we've moved towards a direction of splitting the duties 50-50. But I think if you peeled it back, you would be very surprised at how weighted to one side those duties are. We rarely get the occasion that we're all four. My oldest son is grown. He's living outside of the house. But the four of us that are remaining, we rarely are in the same vehicle together. And we were going somewhere last night, and before we got where we were going, all three of the other people in my car as I was driving asked me where they needed to be for a certain event or an appointment because they knew I'd know. So I have my work schedule to keep up, which is very hectic. I work about 60 hours a week. I'm in school. My kids are about to start back to school. My husband runs his own business, plus all the normal things that you have to take care of in a household. So I think I think most, and I have probably the most supportive husband out there when it comes to my career and me doing school and whatever it is I want to do. I started playing tennis last year. I told him one night, hey, I'm going to start playing tennis. I started playing tennis the next night. I mean, he's very supportive. But if I don't draw him a picture of what needs to be done or ask him, can you do this? He's not going to. And he says all the time, it is a running joke in our house that if I was ever diagnosed with a terminal illness, then we are going to have to start interviewing replacements immediately because he can't survive. Banking accounts, he had to go to the doctor last week, and I just flung his insurance card at him and sat back and laughed. And just because I knew my phone about his appointment was at 9:30, about 9:45, my phone was going to start blowing up with questions. Mad because he had to fill out 6 pages of paper. Why didn't you come with me? And I just laughed. And I said, they're working. So we've came a long way, no doubt about that. But I still think it is extremely weighted in one direction in most households.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think on it there, Brandon and Alanah? Yeah.
Well, see, I kind of have both pictures because I was in the military, and yes, whenever we would deploy, like my last deployment was a year. She was pregnant with Jasper, so she gave birth and everything. I wasn't even home, so I was deployed. Yes, I might have worked my ass off, sleeping 2 hours in 2 days, but when you're deployed, that's all you have to worry about because there's nothing you can worry about. You know what I mean? So the only thing is basically staying alive. That's basically what you do. But while she was at home having a newborn by herself, having to take care of him by herself, then she moved our household by herself. You know what I mean? And so going from that to being discharged from the military, right? Then was not allowed to work, right?
Right.
Because I got to be the stay-at-home dad. I gained a massive amount of respect because fuck that shit. I hated it. I love my kids to death, but every single day I wanted to punch at least all of them.
At least all of them. Not just one in particular, every single one of them little
every single one of them. Like, so, and like she was saying that she has a supportive husband. Like, I don't think I could have found somebody to support me as much as her. Because, we got married and literally, I did my year deployment, and then 6 months after that, the Navy said, hey, it's time to go. Bye-bye. So, and then, so she went from that to I couldn't work because I was bandaged, cast. I couldn't even move for the longest time. So she worked because I couldn't, and so I had to take care of Jasper. I was just one. So being a stay-at-home parent to now the 4 of them that we had, again, fuck that shit. So, and then, like I was just now able to go back to work. So I went back to work, and I worked in sales too. I sold cars.
Right.
But I'm too much of a brutally honest person, and I just told her one day, I can't do this job anymore. Like, I just can't do it. So I said, I'm going to go back to school because I want to finish my RN. And she said, okay, I'll see you when you get home. So basically she said, go ahead and leave and come home and get signed up for school. So granted, like I take care of all the bills and everything like that. So in this household, if I threw a debit card or something like that, like she wouldn't know what to do with it.
She said, "What?"
whoa,
What? Here we go.
All
Here we go. Let's hear it.
Other than my stuff, all right. No, I'm talking about the bills. I'm just talking about the bills. All right, you take care of all the grocery shopping.
I took on his child, which is my child. He is not.
You got married at 19.
Oh,
Like I can barely hear you. Like I can hear Brandon like just fine.
Closer to you.
oh, no.
Better.
In my defense, I was good in school, like really good, and I was in college, and I didn't want to get married. And that's the reason I broke up with my high school boyfriend. Is he wanted to get married. I just wanted to live my life, and then we got married 10 months after. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but I was married, and I've given up everything for anything that I seen myself doing. Like college, I was really good in college. I knew I wanted a degree and everything, but I just support whatever he wants to do. And one day it will be my turn, and I
Yeah.
see that.
I say they kind of struck a nerve there, you know. You kind of seen that kind of.
He acts like
Wait.
I couldn't do it.
No, I'm just talking about the bills. Like this needs to be paid.
You get on your phone and
You
pay
say,
it. It don't.
okay.
I know I went to Central, but that doesn't mean anything.
Excuse
Like, I
me.
know how to pay bills. I had bills before you.
I don't know how to pay bills. I just want our bills.
I'm gonna strangle you. You're gonna act like I can't pay bills.
Just know
What
that it's
bills
being
do we have?
recorded right now, so you may want to wait.
Yeah, don't do it on camera, guys.
And we didn't hear
Shows
anything.
intent.
She's going
Heck
to be
yeah.
on the
Well, how do you, Miss Jessica, like, what do you feel is the appropriate, I guess, household duties of yourself and your husband?
Well, I've tried probably every routine there is to try. We did both of us working, just me working, and now just him working. My favorite would probably be me working because I'm very independent. I'm the one who takes care of all the bills. I'm the one who takes care of all the groceries, all the appointments, everything, school, all that. And it's just easier for me to know that everything's going to be handled. With the chores as well, I'll come home and okay, the dishes are done. Even if I didn't do them, I make sure everything's done. But I will say I would love to do the traditional, I stay at home and cook and spend time with my kids just all the time. Don't miss anything. I would love to do that one. It's just you can't have best of both worlds. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, you're right, and that's one thing I've noticed. Used to the norm, was the woman staying at home. Especially like with her grandparents, and even to this day, some of her parents. It used to be the normal thing. Like that's how it went. The woman was a homemaker, a caregiver, and the man worked, and made a paycheck. But now, this day and age, and this economy. Like it takes two people financially to really get by. So I mean, it used to be the normal versus now it's more kind of like I want to say a privilege in a sense, just for the the financial securities that I guess older generations had versus the way things are now, where I've been in best of both worlds. Like I had a stay at home girlfriend, and now I have a working wife, and I would 10 times rather have the working wife because I get to have a lot more fun that way.
yeah.
For sure. What about you, Mr. Gales?
Man, first of all, I'm from Tennessee, and
Roll Tide.
I've been out here in New Mexico for a while. Just hearing these Southern accents is really doing something important. Just want to get that out the way. Thank you all.
Making you miss home.
Man, homesick. Yeah. So what happened with us is once we start looking at our marriage like a business, things start to run a little bit more smooth. Um, Understanding that we had to have our hierarchy set up, and not to get too into it, but we are Christians, so we kind of take from that hierarchy, but we take it in not in the traditional way, or the way that gets kind of thrown out there as a reason not to be a Christian. It's one of those things of we talked earlier about love and respect, and my main man Fowler over there is absolutely right. You can't have one without the other. And so once we started, we just decided to say, all right, just like way back then with Adam and Eve, when she bit the fruit, it wasn't about her biting the fruit. Like literally says in the Bible that God said, Adam, where are you? So I took that role. Anything that's wrong in my house, that's on me. Anything that's right in my house, Daddy better get an extra piece of chicken. You know? So that's kind of how we run it. But my wife works in banking. I'd be a fool to try to take over the finances when she works every day with $1 million customers.
Right.
I'm tall. I reach the tall stuff. That'd be dumb for someone to fall trying to reach the, a high cabinet, something from the top cabinet or something.
Right.
But how it was broken down for me, this has always kind of stuck with me, is I guess instead of equality, equability, right? If I'm 6'4", I don't need a box to see over the fence. I can see over the fence. So here, take my box. My wife is literally exactly a foot shorter than I am. She's 5'4". I'm gonna give her my box, and now we can both see over.
Right.
That's equability. One of us are better at laundry, the other one's better at disciplining the kids, but she has to bring in the good, the big guns. I've got her support, but it's constant communication, because marriage is work. It is a job. It is absolutely a business. And for your business to run, there needs to be someone holding everybody accountable. And I fall under the umbrella of, God holding me accountable. What does the Bible say about this? I get that all the time, especially my 16 and 12-year-olds. But Dad, you always say the Bible says this. It's like, dadgummit, you're right. All right, you win this one. Good job. But even getting our children involved, my 16-year-old, she runs the kitchen to her room. That means on their side of the house, the bathroom, the living room, all that. Now, we also have taught her how to delegate and how to respectfully ask her younger siblings to do what they ask. And if not, then she kicks it up to mom. And if it's still not getting done, then it gets kicked up to me. And I absolutely always kind of fall back on my religion to see, how we should handle this. But yeah, run your marriage like a business, man.
Right. Pick your strengths and weaknesses and work together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely see that, man. I agree with you there 100%. And that's another thing, man. Like me and you were talking about earlier, TJ, that, shit, them kids get old enough, you put them to work,
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You do.
Yeah. Like
Either you're going to teach them or the world will.
Right, that's right. Like both my sons, well, I say one's a stepson, but my boys, they're both 12 looking at 13. So, I mean, like this summer, the torch of mowing the lawn, I'm handing that baby over. And they don't like it, and they say, well, why? I was like, well, because I feel a generation of soft men is coming up. I know it's 110, but it's going to make you a little bit harder. So just take it and do it. You're not saying I'm a hard ass, but I was raised pretty tough. And I always tell them, I'm like, you don't like the way I do it, go live with my dad. Go hang out with Papa Tim, and see how it goes. It's like splitting wood. It's like July. It's like, boys, winters are coming. We got to heat the house. Split the wood. Here's a hammer and a freaking wedge or an axe. I'm like, all right. But anyways, yeah, and you made the point, too, that marriage is a job. My wife's extremely easy to love and be married to, but it's the hardest job I've ever had because I make it hard on myself wanting to do better. And every day I'm like, God, I need to do more. But sometimes, I think I'm a shitbag because I thought about it and I come home and I didn't do it. Instead I went running or something, taking care of TJ. She was home, making this bum-ass meal. But it's a hard job and it's something I'm trying to improve every day because she absolutely deserves it. So.
And that's the thing, like when it really comes down to it, like us, man, we'll be like, yeah, should be 50-50. You know, I do this and I help out with this, but in all honesty, like like you said earlier, like it's really weighted to one side. Like when it comes down to it, like how 50-50 is it really?
Oh yeah, like I heard her mention earlier, she gets up and goes to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, you know, I get off work at 4 or 5. I'm gonna go do my thing, go running and all that, while my wife is preparing, you know, doing stuff at home. She doesn't have that option. She has to get up extra early and do it. And if my wife wants to do her exercise, whatever, she's got to work around her schedule to do it. Where I kind of do it whenever I want to.
Right.
You know, so.
Right. Now, Candace. Yeah,
Yes.
we hadn't got to you yet, and I kind of wanted to save you for last because your husband is full-time military, and
Yeah.
I've known you for years, and you know he stays gone a lot. You know that's
And
his
he's
job.
like 4 times in 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, y'all are constantly moving, and you know he's constantly being sent here, being sent there. So I think you have it. I mean, you're a trooper. You are a trooper, like on account of raising the kids that you already have, on top of now you're tackling twins. You're pretty much the definition in a sense, a single mom.
Yeah.
And I mean, in a sense, I mean, obviously, I mean, you're married to David, but he's got to do his thing. But at the same time, like you just run the shit out of things.
He makes up for it when he's home, though. The one thing I can say about him is, first of all, it took us so long to have the babies that we have that he looks at them a little bit different than I think he would have if we'd have just had kids right off the bat.
Right.
And he has cherished every moment that he has, especially they were 7 weeks old when he got deployed the first time. And he realized really quick what he was missing. So
Right.
I will tell you, I've always worked at least an hour from wherever we've lived at. And up until we moved to our last in Colorado, I'd always worked 12-hour shifts. So when we moved here, he took the kids to daycare. He picked the kids up from daycare. He did supper before I ever got home. He would have baths drawn for me when I got home with my food ready to go and a glass of wine. He does all the floors in the house. The only thing he does not do is laundry, and he doesn't pay the bills. But when I'm home, I will do every bit of that stuff if I get home before him, or for instance, when he's gone and nobody else is here to do it. And like, he truly is amazing. Now, let's back up 13 years to the first time that I was married. And that is a completely different scenario. You should have had him on here, because unless he's changed a whole lot, I did everything.
We getting into some family drama now. Wait till the next family picnic we get to. Like, you won't believe what she said. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
He didn't help with the kids. He never went to ball games. He never went to school functions. He was always blowing money. Like, it was just completely different than the way that I have it now. And that may be a time thing. Like, things have changed a lot, I would say over the course of the last 20 years.
Right.
And people do look at things different. And like you said before, 2 people usually have to work now to really make ends meet most of the time. But I think my husband's the way he is. And I mean, he truly helps with everything. I don't have to ask him to do it. He just does it. But I think it's because of all the time that he's gone. I was gone for 2 days when they were probably 5 months old, 6 months old. Right after he'd come back. I guess they were 9 months old when he come back from his first deployment after they were born. And then a year ago, almost exactly, I was in Colorado for my oldest son's graduation. And he had the kids at home for a week. And he told me then, he's like, I don't know how you do it. I do not understand how you stay at home by yourself and you work full time and you come home and you take care of the kids and you keep everything done in the house. But I told him I don't have a choice. Like, I have to. Just like he didn't have a choice then. He had to do it.
Right.
It could be worse. But, like, he's fantastic. So he really makes a difference. And when we say 50-50, he probably, honestly, when he's home, it's 75-25. Like,
and that's awesome. I mean, you got to respect that just for the fact of when he's gone, it's 100% yours. And
but I will tell you, he would give all that up and be a stay-at-home dad in a heartbeat. Like that's
really,
his lifelong dream to be at home with the kids all the time, to go to everything that they have, and me
I
working.
said that too. I
Hey,
said that.
I honestly think you would. I'm telling you, y'all, he's. I don't know. I mean, I think it's because it took us so long to have kids. Like I think that's the.
yeah.
Yeah.
Say Candace here, you know, she's special. And twins she had, y'all worked really hard for that.
Did.
What is it called? A surrogate?
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all know what a surrogate is, but it's pretty much. I mean, I think everybody here knows what a surrogate is. But yeah, I mean, and that's respectful, and I know that y'all wanted kids for so long, but I mean, in a sense, like I kind of look up to David just for the fact that he is like that, because I will sit here and say that hands down, I'm not, like and I like to strive a little bit more, I guess, to be like that at times for sure. He's kind of putting me to shame right now, I'm not even gonna lie.
I make it up to him. Trust me. All this help that he does, he gets paid back for it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the way. I mean, that's the way it should be. Like I said, most of us, or me, for example, like I said, yeah, it should be 50-50, but like you said, like when it comes down to it, it's not, and it's something that I've got to continuously work on, because I work 2 weeks, and I'm off 2 weeks, but at the same time I've got this podcast going on, and we've got sports going on. I'm really involved with my boys as far as sports, getting them to places, doing things with them. But when it comes to like housework, like I noticed, like there'll be times where I'm doing really good. I'll come in, I'll say laundry needs to be done. I'm you can ask Tiffany, my wife. She's I'm really good at doing laundry. I can wash the hell out of some clothes.
It's easy.
Yeah, it's easy. But them damn things will sit in the dryer for 5 days if she let them.
One little dumbass thing I do, and like, say I vacuum the rug, I'll vacuum it right before my wife gets home from work, and I leave the vacuum cleaner out. Like, you ever had a cat to catch a mouse and leave the little mouse on your doorstep wanting to brag on it? I leave the vacuum out so she can see that I vacuum the rug and maybe brag on it.
Just the fact that you know how the vacuum works.
Okay.
That's a con. Ashlee, if he tells you he doesn't know how to work a vacuum, that's a
Believe
con.
me, I know. My husband is a very smart person. A very smart person. And that's
But
where...
I want to push back on
ahead.
that 50-50 thing there, Mr. Blake. Like I was saying about, equality versus equability. Like, I make sure dishes, laundry, everyone gets picked up, all that stuff. I'm doing all of those things, right? And I could very easily say, man, you never do laundry, you never do this, never do that, and complain. But just like y'all were talking about early, if she throws me the insurance card or asks me to fill out a form, I'm lost. So it may not feel like we're doing the exact same work, but I will do the housework in a heartbeat over all that other stuff. And that's just me. But each couple has to find their own, rhythm.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what it is, and I've always said, well, I hadn't always said, but something I've come to realize as I've gotten older and a little bit wiser, is marriage isn't 50-50, it's 100-100.
There you go.
Like that, yeah.
And that's whether it's chores or communication, whatever the subject may be. Marriage is 100-100. And I slack sometimes, because if I feel like I ain't giving 100, I'm not going to give 100. That's just kind of when it comes down to it. You just got to fight for it. Marriage is work. Marriage is a job within itself. It's something I've realized. Every marriage goes through the very, very beginning, the butterfly effect. You get the butterflies, you kind of go outside your comfort zone, you do things that you wouldn't normally do outside of your character, just because you're so infatuated with this person. And then once them butterflies die away, that's when a relationship is tested. And that's honestly when most people quit, is because they quit doing these things because they kind of revert back to how they really normally are. And, it's kind of, people change. But in all actuality, that's when a relationship really starts, is once them butterflies die. That's the real person that you married. That's the real person that you've decided, to commit to. and from then on, you know, it's 100, you know.
But I think we are responsible for not allowing those butterflies to die. You know, my brother has a company. He's in Canada, and his company is called Woo Your Boo, and he talks about the three levels of woo, right? So
Right.
there's the big levels, because when you first start off, everything is grand and large, and everything is a first date. You're going to the best places, always making sure your breath is good, you're brushing your teeth, you're wiping your butt. You know what I mean? You're doing all these things, and that kind of dies down. But
It
the
does.
secret is understanding that everything else has have to be this grand gesture all the time. Little compliments here and there, leave little notes around, do a chore or two, and take her to dinner. And then she'll see those different levels, and that's how you kind of calibrate those butterflies, right? You
Right.
kind of coasting along, doing the norm, 100, and then you do some, 110%. And then it's like, oh, whoa, didn't see that coming,
Right.
So that's what I mean. It comes back to being work, because if you're not doing your part, the whole house feels it. Kids start acting up, you don't know why. The lady is not, giving up in the bedroom, and you're trying to figure out why, and
That's
it's usually you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really is. There's always that's what I've realized. You know, that's one thing I miss about the butterflies. You know, is the sex 3 times a day, anytime, anywhere. Like
That's
that.
called get a hotel, buddy.
It dies. It does die down. You know, but there. I don't
You should clean
believe.
that house more, Blake.
That's right. Hell, I be washing them dishes. You know, that's the thing. Once you get older and you get comfortable, like sex, it becomes like a trade off. You know, and I've said this in a couple episodes, and this is the God's honest truth. Like you trade, we trade it out. Men will trade it out. You know, my wife has been many times. I tell you what, if you go in there and give the baby a bath, we can do it. You know, and I've been there with a smile on my face. That baby couldn't get any cleaner. You know, we got bath bombs and everything. Like we're getting it done.
Not bad. But here's the thing: what happens if you do it without her saying so?
And that's
How
that's
much
That's the thing, right?
That
there,
is what
That's
that's what it's about, Jeremy. I mean, that's honestly what it's about. Like, I think that's where a lot of men fall short is they do these things and they want some sort of reward for it, as in, hey, look at me, I done this. Hey, I washed the dishes, just like kind of like you were talking about, leave a vacuum cleaner out. Like,
I vacuumed the room.
Just
Got a whole
like
list
you
of
were saying,
credentials.
you don't want to let the butterflies go away and these things kind of die off after time. I think the same thing happens, especially in a long-term relationship. You both go into this as a pair, as equals. You go into this, you have kids, and then over time things start to shift gradually enough that neither of you really notice. And I know that a lot of the women on here can probably attest to the same thing. Little by little, it just gets easier to do it yourself. Because either your husband's traveling, or because my husband worked out of town for a long time. He would be gone for 6 to 8 weeks at a time when he was working in Wyoming. He left, with 3 little kids at home. So you get into these routines that it's just easier to do it yourself. And then one day you wake up 10 years down the road and you're trying to figure out, what's she so mad about? She does this every day. Right. Why is she so mad? She does it every day.
you know what that's called? It's called complacency.
It's called complacency.
Yeah.
That is complacency. The act of
But my thing is I don't mind to clean the house. I actually enjoy it. For one, there's some things I don't care to do because my kids are going to screw it up while I'm cleaning it. But I cannot clean the house with her here, because I do things my way and then she does things the right way. So
I
Well
think
said.
I can resonate with that. I'm extremely type A.
Keeping the
I am.
house and cleaning our house.
Yeah, exactly. The housework, when it comes to that, I'm not going to complain too much. All I ask is that your shoes not live under the living room table. When you bring a glass into the living room, it goes back to the kitchen. Little things like that. Now, we have done the same thing with our kids from an early age. We've taught them responsibility. My husband and I both worked from a very young age. I come from both sides of the spectrum when it comes from a working class background. My grandmother had a college degree and a career when most women didn't work outside of the home, Yet my grandmother on the other side of my family had 13 kids and moved every time their rent was due. I mean, it was very wide spectrum. So I saw it from all areas. We taught our kids from a very early age. I don't touch their rooms now. I mean, I have an 11-year-old daughter. You can ask her today what she did. She spent her entire day cleaning her room, going through her clothes, getting out clothes that are too small for her, getting ready to go back to school. So we've learned to delegate these things. But like I said, these little shift just happens over time because it just works better for your routine. Candace, I know you talked about how much he helps when he gets home. And I could not wait for Brandon to get home when he would be working out of town. But in the back of your mind, there's a little bit, or I have to imagine, a little bit that throws your routine off just enough that that you notice it.
Absolutely. When
Like
he comes
you're
home,
so
like
excited to see him. You're so glad the kids have him there. But damn it.
Well, because he expects it to go back to like it was before, which
Before
is great
he
for me because I mean
left.
he's helped out. I mean he's great.
Yeah.
But when I've been doing it all myself, it's like you can't just go back and expect everything to pick up exactly like it was before you left because it's
Right.
different. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. I tell
I'd
you what,
be
guys.
interested to know.
Go ahead.
I'd be interested to know, just kind of do like a round of the table sort of thing. How long were y'all with y'all significant others before you got married?
2 years.
6 years.
Wait, before what? It skipped it.
Before you got married?
Yeah, like how long were you guys together before y'all like got married?
9
10
months.
months.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. What? So what did
I think
is
she
anybody
said
else having
9
trouble hearing
months.
me?
You said how many years, Jessica? I'm pointing at you like you can see me, but
6. We were together for 6 years.
6
before we got
years.
married.
See, and what about you, Mr. Jeremy? What do you say? How long?
So I've known my wife since I was 13, 14 years old. We dated in high school, broke up, biggest mistake of her life. She fixed it later, but we had such a huge rapport because we were friends throughout. So when I was doing my, smoking, drinking, hoeing around, she was there telling me like how awful I was. I called her one time. I was like, "Girl, I'm gonna marry you." She's like, "Don't call me drunk." Click. That was it. I had a lot of growing up to do, Mr. Blake and ladies and gentlemen. But
I met my husband and told him that night I was going to marry him.
And that's the same thing with my wife. Like literally, like I'll just be honest with you guys. Like me and my wife didn't meet in some spectacular romantic fashion. Like literally, I swiped right on her on Tinder. And
You want to hear a story?
And like literally, like at that moment, like I mean, I can still picture it. Like I still remember that exact moment. Like she was in a pool, in a bikini behind a beer pong float. That just is like America, And I was at that point, man, I was just like, I'm gonna marry that girl.
Me and my wife, I mean, we kind of started out dating, but then when things got physical, we're like friends with benefits because her and I mean, we had really good sex right off. I mean, I don't know how graphic.
Hey, go into detail, bro.
The first time we ever had sex, I had her over my lap, like spanking her. I'm like, this is amazing. This is hard to find. I was so comfortable with her. I'm like, but anyhow, I married her, and that's not why. I mean, that's the big reason why, But anyways, I didn't start out as nothing like. I mean, I don't think I swept her off her feet unless the spanking thing done it. I don't know. But anyway.
Hey, but I can attest to that. But yeah, like me and my wife, like we were only together like 6 months before we got married. And looking back on it now, I don't regret it by any means. But looking back on it as you get older and a little bit more smarter, like I think that like I respect you guys for waiting so long to actually get to know somebody, and I mean that plays out a lot. I mean that's honestly one of the reasons biggest reasons of divorces is you get married in that butterfly phase when things kind of start to revert to normal life and life actually hits. That's when your relationship and even your own self is truly tested.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you're vetted beforehand.
Yeah.
Right.
Me and her, right? Like I met her because this is gonna sound terrible, but I was putting her boyfriend into the military, and then they broke up, and then
You're Jody.
yeah. Well, I mean, they weren't together when we started to talk, right? So we were actually not meant to be anything. I guess you can say, like, we were just meant to be friends with benefits, I guess you could say.
Right.
Well, because I was during my hoe phase. I was drinking.
Nice.
I was, yeah. So I was not looking to get married whatsoever, right? And then, well, yeah, like, because I got through a divorce, and I was like, after that, I'm just like, that saying that there's plenty of fish in the sea? Well, my saying was, I want to go through all the fish. So I was not looking to get married again. And all that changed.
Yeah.
So
That's where I was at because I was divorced. I've been divorced like 4 or 5 years, and I was doing my thing, and I was good. It was me and the kids, but then I met my wife, and once I got to knowing her, I was like, damn. And she has this whole nurturing thing about her, and that's really what got me because, I mean, I don't care who big, badass man you are, you want to be nurtured. There's no better feeling than, like, laying your head in your wife's lap and her, like, rubbing your head and treating you like a big old baby. And
So
she does
Freudian
that.
slip right there.
sometimes I want to be Little Spoon, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, me too. I'm like, hold me.
That's one thing I've noticed. I've read a couple self-help books, and one being kind of helped my marriage was the 5 languages of love, and that's one thing I noticed. Like 95% of men are the words of affirmation. We like to be, like you said, like that little spoon. We like to be nurtured. We like to be told that we matter. That we're just this big strong man, and you would think that, honestly, when I read the book, I was like, I already know what my love languages is. I love sex. Like, sex is like that's really what gets you want me to do anything, give me sex. I don't care. Literally the house could burn down and we have sex afterwards, and it's not going to be that bad. So, going into like reading that book, like my mind was kind of thinking, well, it's physical touch. Absolutely.
Right.
But then you get to reading the books, and I've noticed that within myself. Like, men want to be patted, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, I know myself. I go all day going around trying to put on this persona, not to be like a tough guy, but you know what I'm saying? It feels good to come home and be able to strip that off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Did you do the quiz? Because I read the book, and then I did the quiz with not only me and my wife. I made my 2 older girls take it as well. Mm-hmm. Like, you tell me what you guys want, because for a long time it was me and 3 women. It's like, man, we gotta get some dudes around here,
Sorry.
But that actually helped me understand them too.
Yeah,
and them understand me a little bit. Did you take the quiz?
Yeah, I did. And like I said, man, words of affirmation was mine. I actually done the children's version of it too, man. I've done a lot of growing over the past couple of years. Like I said, as a man, as a father, and as a husband, and that's honestly one of the things that kind of made me, this podcast thing, made me want to do it, is to kind of share some of my experiences, my thoughts, and not even really just to share, but to learn as well. I'll be ignorant to say that, I'm the best man, best father, best husband, because obviously I know that's not true. But yeah,
right, because it's clearly me.
But yeah, man, let's say that book really kind of opened up, it opened up a lot of doors for me, and a lot of it is common sense. It really is, but sometimes it takes for you to just kind of to step back and have a little bit of common sense about yourself, and man, it works wonders for the relationships for your kids, for your wife, for yourself, But hey, guys, we will be right back after this quick break.
You're listening to Dad Tough Podcast. We'll be back after a message from our sponsor.
Gentlemen, many times we realize how we're not used to be. We have fatigue, we have weight gain, even if we're dieting and exercising like we're supposed to. And for many men, pills and prescriptions aren't working anymore for their ED. At Men's Wellness of North Alabama, we take the time to hear your concerns and get to the root of the problem, and we offer solutions. Call today for your free consult. Let's talk man to man and fix it. 256-366-2470 or mens-wellness.com.
And we are back. And that's another thing, man, since, testosterone has changed. Like, testosterone replacement therapy has changed a lot in my life, a lot in your life.
Yeah, Blake turned me on to it, and I knew something wasn't right because I know myself. And I went and had it, and it was bad. I mean, I think him and I kind of talked about our blood work results, and I was bad. Like I was like 80 or something, And I think about 6 weeks ago, and you think it's the obvious about tests. You're like, oh, it's just sex drive and all that, but no, it's a lot more to it.
Oh yeah.
I can sleep better at night.
Yeah, no, I mean it is, man. That's the thing. At 31 years old, and I kind of want to touch on this a little bit, just because it is important to me, and how it's helped me as a man, a husband, and a father. My testosterone levels were 3 times lower than what it was supposed to be. For my age, and I'm 31 years old. Like, you wouldn't even think that. Like, I mean, you always blame the getting old.
I'm older than Blake. I didn't know that.
The what?
I said I did not know that I was older than you.
Yeah, I ain't but 31. I know I look like I'm 18. Thanks for pointing that out. But I mean, that's one thing I noticed. A lot of adults, like you said, including myself. You get. I mean, obviously you're getting older, and you start feeling like shit. You ain't got the drive you used to, the energy you used to, and you just chalk it up to old age. And. That wasn't the case. I mean, that wasn't the case. Like I said, one of my buddies had talked me into going to get my testosterone and stuff checked out, and I went and got it took. And obviously, like I said, it was, 3 times lower. Went through the process. I got it, got on the replacement therapy. Man, that's the best decision that I've ever made for myself as a man.
I was talking to my doctor about that too, because I'm pretty positive that mine's a lot lower than it should be.
Yeah, and it does help, man. It helps with mental clarity. It helps with the energy, the drive. Like, it's just ridiculous how much drive I have now compared. Like, I feel like I'm 18 again. I mean, honestly. And not only is it for men, it's for women too. And a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, I'm sure y'all women might know. Some of you may know, but women have testosterone levels too. It's very minuscule.
It's actually a lot more than you think.
Yeah. And you guys have
one of the most prevalent hormones in a woman's body.
Oh yeah. And your levels are just a little bit. I mean, they're lower obviously than a man's, but a woman shows signs of low testosterone, and they have the same side effects as a man does: low sex drive, unexpected weight gain, no energy. You feel like you can't get adequate sleep at night. And I mean, that's just kind of one thing I wanted to touch on, in this, just because it's a real thing. If you guys or anybody that's listening or watching, if you experience anything, along those lines, like I said, no energy, no drive, unexpected weight gain, your mood's off. Like, testosterone affects a lot of things in your body, and it's definitely worth getting checked out. And that's one thing that I done was I went to my primary doctor, and he, I respect him. I respect what he does. I know he works really hard, and they're busy. They probably got 100 people in and out every day. But I went and got my levels checked by him first, and he was like, "No, you're fine. You're good." So I was like, "Well, dang, that sucks." But then my buddy's like, "Don't go to your primary doctor. You need to see a testosterone specialist." So I went and seen a testosterone specialist, and that's when I found out it was literally 3 times lower than what it was. And like I said, it's changed my life. And I said it's the same thing for women too. And if you got any kind of problems in the bedroom with your wife, if that could be something too. Or testosterone could be low. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Her headaches may be because she's got low testosterone. Low testosterone.
Let's pay back for that debit card comment.
Heck yeah.
No, the first time I heard about this was on Joe Rogan's show, and I didn't realize that that's what a lot of people were getting in trouble for in athletics. you know,
Right.
because it's also good for recovery of a lot of different things.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm about to try that out myself, man.
Man,
My husband and I both have done it. Like we both have went and got, because I actually take testosterone. My body produces none at all. Do you feel like after you've like gone through this and gotten treated and gotten your levels straightened out, do you feel like you're participate more, do more around the house?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
To circle back, because I hate that term.
What term?
Circle back. Hate it. I did too. But those jobs had to still get done, regardless of how I felt, regardless of the fact that I was sleeping 3 hours a night, regardless of the fact that, because I competed, I did 2 prep cycles, 2 competition cycles. After my second competition cycle, which was a long, hard prep, threw my body into some major issues, and I now deal with some autoimmune disease because of it. But again, those things still had to get done, regardless of how I felt, what was going on with me. But I saw the same thing with Brandon going through, and I mean, he's always, like I said, done a really good job of. We've never had an issue with him participating with kids or sports. He's always there, but does a little more around the house now.
Yeah, and that's another
Because he feels
thing.
better.
Like, yeah.
You feel like doing something.
Yeah, and my wife, she's on testosterone pellets, and we have sex so much now. Instead of like once a week, we get it like 3 times a week. It's awesome. It does help with the sex drive as well, too. I mean, it does, and that's the thing. Like you said, things still got to be done. It's not just, just normal chores and stuff around the house. I mean, it's just the overall feeling of quality of life. Like, I have more drive. I said just more energy. And I said it honestly affects your mood as well.
Well, it all goes together.
Right.
If you're not sleeping, then you're not going to feel good the next day. You're not going to perform well at your job. You're going to be irritable at your kids. Well, why are you not sleeping? You've got to dig down to the root causes of all of this. And if it's that, if it's something else, and that's what I started. My last competition was 4 years ago. So the year after, I knew something was wrong. Something was wrong. I did not come back from this prep like I did my first one. And that's when, and then Brennan just went through all his last year and totally feels, I mean, he has a very physical job. It's helped tremendously.
Heck yeah. So if that's something y'all might be experiencing, make sure y'all give, I mean, a lot of you guys here are local. So if you're local, go see Josh Rogers at North Alabama, Men's Wellness of North Alabama. It's called Men's Wellness North Alabama, but they do have a women's clinic as well. It's inside there, and they're working on getting an actual women's clinic. But I'm telling you guys, changed my life, and I just want to pass that information on to you guys and whoever's listening. If you're struggling, it may be something, worth checking out. I mean, seriously. Now, Jessica, you're being awful quiet over there. Like you hadn't spoke outside of your turn. Like I'm kind of worried. You still you still here?
Yeah, I'm just listening. I mean, I agree with what everybody's been saying, so I really didn't feel the need to pop in.
Now I am going to say this. Like I said, we're running on an hour and 3 minutes, so we may end up having to do a part 2 to this. I try to keep my episodes somewhat short. But these are just, let's say, it's test runs, so we're going to see. But do y'all believe that, let's say a stay-at-home wife, mom, whatever the case may be, and the husband goes out and work, do y'all believe that more of the household duties should be put on the woman? If that's her choice, to stay at home?
I'm going to say
yes.
Yeah. I do. That if you're going to if that's your job, that is your job, and you've assumed that as your job, it doesn't mean that somebody needs to be able to come in and lick your floor. But there's no excuse for your husband having to come home after working all day and cook dinner while you've sat on the couch and watched TV. Right. And I know couples like that, so I say that because I know I see it with my own 2 eyes, because that is your job. That might be an unpopular opinion.
I mean, we've established that stay-at-home mom's job is a lot harder than just the traditional going to work and stuff. And like with busy lives, people that do sports and all that stuff like that, I feel like it's always like Jeremy was saying. I know it's 100, but then 50-50 at the same time, because the way that we do it is we go off of who's better at what. I mean, I don't know if that makes very much sense, but
Right.
I'm good at keeping the house clean. I'm good at running errands, but I'm not going to sit here and do it all. He's not going to just go to work, and me do everything else. So, yeah, he goes to work and he'll come home and he'll take the garbage out. If there's dishes sometimes, on his off days, he'll do dishes. He'll do laundry sometimes, because I'm not just sitting at home cleaning. I'm taking care of the kids. I'm taking care of the house. I'm taking care of everybody's health.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing more than just staying at home. So, I
Right.
mean, we just split it up with
And I
who.
and I believe that a stay-at-home mom, the the job is not to clean the house. The job is to take care of the kids.
Right.
So even though that they're home all day, they're not home just cleaning house. They also have little kids running around. And if they're anything like my kids, if they don't have eyes on them 24/7, they'll kill themselves. So, you know, the man to go out and work and stuff like that, I mean, like they should still come home and do some things. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it may not be, because in all honesty, she's better at everything than me. So if we're going on that one, she would do everything.
Kissing
Because
ass
like the
now,
whole
trying to make up for
going to
earlier.
the grocery store, my kids would eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and ramen noodles because that's what I ate for so long when I was deployed a lot.
Oh, bull
But
crap. I don't buy that, man. There's another
but
con. Because you can
but
absolutely take that to the gym, right? Like, here's something that someone told me, because I feel like I'm an old man over here. So let me
what?
act like an old man for a minute. Someone
Wait a
told
minute.
me,
How
like,
old are
I
you?
can't take it. I'm 35.
I'm 34.
Okay, I'm older than everybody here.
How old are you?
40.
Start calling her Meemaw.
I'm 39. I'll
No,
be 40 in February.
I turned 40 last week.
right. So here's what someone told me, because I have this thing about taking things personally. Like, the kid don't listen to me, that's a personal slap in the face, and we're about to go, you know? But
Yep.
someone told me, like, you can't take it personal. And I said, I can't control how I feel. He said, yeah, but I feel like you can take your feelings to the gym. And I was like, okay. And it makes sense. If you feel like you want to help her do something, that means you got to put some effort in learning how to do it. Like, I have failed so
That's
much.
exactly what I was saying. Because like
Yeah,
I'll like me, it's my job to do the trash or make sure it's done. It's not That's not her job. If there's dishes in the sink, I'm not going to say, "Hey, babe, after you just cooked all this, you got to go do the dishes." No, I'm going to do the dishes because
yeah,
I also believe if she cooked, I do dishes, or if I cook, she does the dishes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, yes, like what she was saying, when it comes down to errands and stuff like that and the grocery shopping, for one, I don't like people. I have really bad mental problems. So she,
That was
so
that was
delayed.
a
It was like
perfect freeze.
it was it was a freeze, and like it just led up to the suspense. Like
Oh, and his
I've
bug eyes, and
got
he's like,
mental problems. Yeah, go ahead.
but like she takes care of all that because she knows that I do. So, you know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things that it's like you also said it's 100 and 50-50. There are things that I don't like doing, but I still will do them if I have to. But she does most of it because I mean, like she's just better at it.
No,
yeah. So
my
that's what.
thing
Sorry.
is we as women are expected to clean the house and take care of the kids and go to school functions, games, concerts, anything that has to do with that. But my problem with that is the fact that when I busted my ass at work and he stayed at home because he has PTSD, terrible after being in Syria. Like after his last deployment, his PTSD, there is no going out to dinner with my husband. There is no doing this because there's only certain few things he can do without triggering something. And my biggest thing is we're expected to do that, but when I did everything and I came home from work and I still did everything and he vacuumed the floor, I had to acknowledge, thank you for doing that, even though that's all you do.
Yeah.
But
Well,
me,
he said it. He'll do it if he has to. And that's where I'm at. I mean, because Brandon will too. He'll do anything he needs to if he has to. I think for collectively most of us, what we want is to not have to force you into doing something. Right. It's to recognize not splitting duties. I mean, I cook. I am a good cook. I love to cook, but I hate being obligated to cook because I am the only person in my house that can cook. So it is a given that 7 days a week I am cooking something to put in those people's mouths because they can't cook. But to recognize what else needs to be done and do it and not expect something in return.
Yeah.
Or taking something off of what else you should be doing because I did this. Right. And I think there's a Gallup poll that I read a few weeks ago, and I actually pulled it up before, that came out last year, and it's specifically on this very subject, and it's splitting duties in the household. And most of the duties were weighted 60% or higher in the women's favor throughout the household, whether it's even down to yard work on some of it. So just
Oh no, I like yard work.
Yeah, my wife does too. My wife uses like she loves mowing the grass.
Me too.
And I hate
Because
that she
it's
loves
her
mowing the
free
grass,
time
but
away
it
from
gives
the
her
babies.
that away time from the babies. I mean, and that's honestly, I mean, that's what it is. And she tells me, I'll be like, I'm gonna mow grass, and she's like, no, I'll do it. And she's like genuinely excited to do it. But in my mind, I'm like, but you don't mow straight lines.
how do you think she feels when you're vacuuming or sweeping?
Hey, you can speak for TJ. I promise you, you will not get any kind of clean better than Ingram clean. Is it?
Oh, goodness.
No, you get your little bucket and a rag and every square
inch you're scrubbing baseboards with toothbrushes. So I promise you, I can clean a lot better than my wife can in a lot of aspects. And that's one thing that, like, working in the marine industry, like, I had to watch because I would come home and I would critique every little thing that she did. Oh, you dusted? Well, you know, there's still dust up there on that ceiling fan, you know. And that was kind of my job as, you know, working on the river. You know, I was the overseer of making sure that stuff got done. So you're critiquing because the last thing you want you know to happen is that next crew to come in and bitch about something not being clean. So that's one thing I can say now when I clean, Blake cleans, okay?
Well, Blake, let me ask you this, because we talked about this before. You know, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? You know, do you want to have peace or do you want to, you know, because there have been plenty of times where I'm like, oh man, I appreciate you, baby. Thanks for doing that. And look, okay, she's gone. Now let me do this right. Jesus, Lord, look at this. You know? But I think I need to amend my statement from earlier. It's not 50-50. It's not just 100-100. It's a fluid thing. Because my wife and I have, you know, switched roles several times. You know, and she's an old Southern lady. She does not like anybody in her kitchen. But there are some times, you know, her feet are hurting and she's tired and I got to figure something out. Yeah. You know? So it's a sliding scale, right? It may be 60-40, but don't let it stay 60-40. And definitely don't just assume that, you know, well, because of how the society is, it should be 60-40, you know? Right. But that's a conversation that has to happen between you as a couple. Like you two have to figure out.
Then it's gonna lead to something bad.
Right, and that's one thing I've noticed. Like, you know, I know with my wife, I'm sure it's with a lot of your women, you know, women as well. But like when a man just steps up and just does something, like y'all appreciate that so much. And that's something I've noticed with my wife is, you know, used to like kind of like TJ, I'd leave that vacuum cleaner out in the middle of the floor, you know. I'm like, oh, sorry, man, I forgot to put that up. I've been busy today, you know, washing them dishes and, you know, sweeping, mopping, folding laundry, you know.
Give me my credit. Love me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's something, like I said, you know, like reading through some, you know, some self-help books and stuff and trying to grow as a person. Like now I do things and not expect anything, some gratitude,
out loud anyway,
a pat on the back or whatever the case may be. Expect, you know, a good night of sex because of it. I mean, just like for the example, like the other night, you know, I think I gave Tucker a bath, or my son a bath, and you know that night she was just like, "Thank you so much for giving him a bath," and I was like, "Oh, so, you know, no thing."
The thing is, though, it's fun, but when she's doing it, do you ever tell her, "Thank you for giving him a bath"?
No.
Right? Is it reciprocal?
No, I'll be honest. No, I mean, no.
Because it's expected, right?
Yeah, it is
It's that
expected.
60% creeping up.
It's that weighted one side, and like I said, that's something I've realized.
Something really quick. So when you asked, you think that stay-at-home moms should do more of the responsibility, and I said yes. That doesn't mean that I think they should be doing everything.
No,
For
absolutely
6 months, I
not.
stayed at home when we moved to Arizona because my husband had to go to his captain's career course there. And so, because we're only there for 6 months, there was no reason for me to try to get a nursing job for six
Right.
months. So I stayed at home with the kids. And there were several days that he'd come home that the house wasn't cleaned up because all day long I had been with, 8-month-olds, like trying to keep them from killing themselves because they were climbing on everything. And sometimes I didn't have supper cooked. And usually he would come in, he would give the kids a bath and then watch them so I could go take a shower or whatever, to have some time away.
Wow.
But I didn't want y'all to think that I'm saying because of that's a hard job. I would prefer to work
Me
and
too.
be at home with my kids later than be at home with my kids nonstop all day.
Gives y'all that chance,
And I love them.
that sense of freedom.
I'm not wired to be a stay-at-home mom. I never have been. I've been at home with my kids for some. Now, COVID has forced me into that. I've been working because I travel a tremendous amount on my job. I've not been on the road for over a year. I work 5 days a week in my office at home. That's brought a new challenge to us because my job demands a lot of me. There are days that I never even though I stare in my kitchen from my office, there are days I never get up to get lunch because I'm too busy. But yet, because I've been home and I've been sitting there, it's still expected that dinner falls on me, even though I can't even form a coherent sentence at the end of some days because it's just been so busy. But just recognizing what needs to be done. And like he said, not delegating, this is your job and I'm not going to do it because this is your job. Recognizing that something needs to be done and doing it without expecting a reward or praise for it. Right. In the end, that's all.
Do it because you're a man. Because it needs to be done. Do it because you're, or a woman in a cage.
Look at that flex.
If you do expect it though, and you want that, then you should just make sure that you're doing the same to your wife. She's cleaning the house every day, and she's got supper cooked for you when you come home. Say, hey, thanks, babe, for doing that. I appreciate that. Right. Because then all of a sudden, it's not like you've expected it from her. It's that you appreciate and you realize what she's doing.
Right.
Brandon and I almost got a divorce 4 years ago because of this subject.
About expecting?
It's not. I love doing what I do. I love all 4 of my children. We just bought we literally just moved in, and I love doing it. And I love my stuff to be clean, neat, put away. I'm OCD, but if he washes the dish, it's like if I do not show him appreciation, he gets pissed off. But if he shows me none for years, and then it's just expected of me, and I can't we had to do the whole we left each other. I couldn't deal with it anymore.
Right.
And
Have
now
y'all have y'all taken that love language quiz? Are y'all consistently talking about what you want from each other? Because you gotta, like I said, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate.
Communication.
I will say now that our communication is a lot better now than it was 4 years ago. 4 years ago is when I got out of the military, and I'll take all that. I'll take the blame. I'll take 100% of the blame because that was on me. Because again, I do have problems, and about 4 years ago, I was in a really dark spot in my own head, and basically, I didn't talk to nobody. I just shut down. Again, I take all that on myself because I didn't show any appreciation. I just expected it, but I also didn't say that I had issues. You know what I mean? And when she would voice her issues, I would basically just.
They weren't as bad as yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm bad about doing, and I really work on is downplaying other people's hardships and issues.
Mm-hmm.
I even do it with the kids, I'm like, yeah, you didn't have it near as bad as I did, and I do it with my wife, like, you think your day was bad. And that's something that I try to work on daily, and I think I've gotten a lot better.
Oh, you're just an asshole.
Yeah, I'm not quite, but anyways, but really, like, in conclusion, to me is I can openly admit that my wife is a much better spouse than I am, and that gives me something to work for.
Well,
every day.
Well, you
I mean, really, she knows me much.
That's
better
how
than
he
I
gets
know
it every
her.
night, folks.
Yeah, I mean, he's steadily. Like, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
sweet talking me over.
Boy,
here,
he been mixing that brownie batter all night.
Yeah,
all night, boy. He done put them in the oven, boy. You can try to get some brownie points
Go
tonight.
ahead and air this, and maybe one of the nights where I just do this.
Are you gonna tell her to what?
But that's I love how you said that, because it's like that starving kids in Africa thing, Like Dave Chappelle has a hilarious joke where he's talking. I'm sure I'm gonna butcher it, but he's talking about this joke about, like, man, I'm hungry. Talking to his friend, and his friend was like, "Well, there are starving kids in Africa." He was like, "So what? I still want lunch. My problems are my problems." And looking at it, it's helped me with my kids. Like, looking at them, and instead of going back to back in my day, just realizing that their current problems are as big to us as our problems were then. But that's where the communication, and just like he was talking about, he had problems. He took that all on himself. Big Brandon over there with the beautiful beard.
Oh yeah.
You recognizing that is half the battle. Understanding that all of this, because you weren't right and you behave a certain way because you had some things going on, look how it affected everyone else that's under your protection, right?
And I think one thing like Brandon should have done, I know that my wife tells me, is like, I'm here for a reason. If you feel like you're going through these hard times, whether it be something dealing with my kids and all that, it's like, I'm here. You put it all on me, and I can handle it, and I'll help you. And that's something hard for me to do, is rely on her, because for so long I didn't rely on anybody but myself, and I was good, so I thought. And that's another thing I work on, is dependent on her, because she can help me,
See, mine was from from my military past. Like I've seen a lot of things, I've done a lot of things, and to me at that point in time is when I got out of the military. I thought I was going to be fine. I was like, man, I was a civilian before. I'll go right into it, And then it hit me that no, it's not the same. You know what I mean? And basically at that point in time, I was going through all those issues, and basically those are my issues. Those aren't her issues. Those are my issues. But I was still taking them out on her and not even telling her. You know what I mean? And after that, I got the help that I needed. And after that, I basically vowed that if I have an issue, I'm going to tell her. Like she is. When I tell you that she's my rock, because I've lost control a couple of times. You know what I mean? And like one of the times, like pretty much, if I ever lose control, she's been the only person to ever calm me down. And basically, I say that because now she knows everything. Even the things that I won't tell other people, she knows. So when I do lose it now, she's there. And so now, that's why I say our communication is probably 100% better. And that's mainly because 100% of that's on me. Because even when she was trying to communicate with me, I was just not listening, or I was just shutting down myself. And I wouldn't communicate at all.
Right. Well, hey guys, we'll be right back. And there we are. We are back. Had to take a little break there. Little break. But guys, I said we're going to kind of run this thing down, man. It's going on an hour and 30 minutes. I definitely think it's something that we could do a part 2 of, or definitely get you guys in here to do some more episodes. I mean, I legitimately enjoyed that. I said I was kind of wondering how it was going to go. We've had a little bit of, I can tell, a little glitchy, sound, problems, but we'll get that worked out for sure. Like I said, I want to thank each and every single one of you for taking your time out since like 5 o'clock this afternoon to help work some of the kinks out. And like I said, we'll definitely do it again. And for anybody that's watching, make sure that you go to Dad Tough Podcast Facebook page, smash that like and subscribe button. Like my son says, ring that notification bell. And subscribe, guys. It helps me out a lot for you guys to like, share, subscribe. It helps me, and I do appreciate it. It's what gets my episodes out there and what helps me create more episodes. But like I said, I do appreciate everybody being here. And if anybody ain't got anything else, we're gonna run her down.
Thanks for
All right.
having
Sounds
us.
good.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Yes,
It's
sir.
been fun.
All right. Well, guys, until next time, stay dad tough.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in to Dad Tough. If you liked the episode, don't forget to like and follow the Dad Tough podcast on Facebook and YouTube. You can also listen to every episode on all major platforms. Have an interest in being on the show or want advertising? Reach out by email at dadtoughpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, guys, stay Dad Tough.